I think there's a California housing crash hiding in plain sight. And I know that's a big statement to make. I'm not a crash bro, so I really don't use the word crash lightly. But I was looking over the newest numbers from the California Association of Realtors preparing for this video, and what I found is shocking. It actually alarms me, and it has me worried about the future of the California housing market. So let's get right into it. I'm Jon Schwartz, a California realtor, and you're watching the California Real Estate Roundup Crash Edition for August 2024. And we're looking at the most recent California housing market update published last week by the California Association of Realtors. Now, on the surface, everything looks fine. Home sales are up 4.1% over last year for an annualized rate of 279,810 homes. And the median sale price of a home in California is up 6.5%. Also great. I mean, a Californian looks at these two numbers together and can go to sleep easy knowing that the California housing market is in tip-top shape. But, and this trend has been bothering me all year, inventory is up. This metric, the unsold inventory index, is the same as months supply, and California is currently at 2.9 months, up 16% from this time last year when we had 2.5 months of supply sitting on the market. And remember, this metric, months supply, or the unsold inventory index, takes into account both supply and demand. So it's not like there are more homes on the market, but people are buying them up. It's actually quite the opposite. There are more homes on the market and they're not getting bought up. This graph shows the growth in sales versus the growth in active listings for California's major regions. As you can see, every California region has seen considerably more growth in listings than in sales. The Bay Area has seen twice as much listings growth as sales growth. Southern California is at a 4x multiple, and the Central Coast is at a 6x multiple. And what boggles my mind is that all of these regions are seeing price gains. Inventory has grown significantly, which means the supply and demand curve should be pushing prices down, but the median sale price is up 3.6% in the Bay Area, 6.1% in SoCal, 2.2% in the Central Valley, 8% in the Central Coast, which is shocking, and 3.1% in the far north. So how are prices going up so much across the state when inventory is outpacing sales by such a margin? Well, the shocking answer, comes by digging deeper into the median price data. Though first, I should point out that buying a home in California is getting more expensive, not just because of home price growth, but because of recent rule changes that require homebuyers to cover their agent's 2.5% or 3% commission fee. And homebuyers are being told that they have to sign the contract agreeing to that fee before they can view any homes. Well, I think that's a crock of shit. And I think 2.5% or 3% is quite a lot to ask of homebuyers who are already putting their life savings into the down payment. So I created Blueprint. It's a web app that guides you through the process of touring homes, writing offers, and completing a purchase on your own terms, so you don't have to sign anybody's upfront 3% commission agreement. If you're a California homebuyer, don't sign anybody's commission agreement until you consider buying with Blueprint at buywithblueprint.com. Now back to median prices. So the median sale price for a home in California rose 6.5% year over year. Unfortunately, the report also breaks down median price by percentile. And this graph shows that median price growth by percentile. On the left here, we have the bottom 20% of homes in terms of price, and the median price of these homes grew by 7.8%. Then we have the next 20% of homes by price and the next 20% of homes by price, etc. And here on the right, the top 20% of homes by price is broken down even further. Now, to illustrate my point, I have to take this data and draw it out for you. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle that represents all of the homes that sold in Los Angeles this month. And you can imagine them going left to right from the least expensive homes, that's $1 sign, to the most expensive homes, represented by $4 signs. Now, when you put all these homes together, the overall median price for these grew plus 6.5%. But we can actually break down this rectangle into the percentiles. This right here marks the 20th percentile. This right here marks the 40th percentile. This right here marks the 60th percentile. This right here marks the 80th percentile. And then from the 80th percentile to the 100th percentile, we had sections broken down even further. So here's the 85th, 90th, 95th, and the 100th percentile, which represents, of course, the most expensive home sale in California this month. And when we look at the growth in median sale price for these quintiles, a fifth of a group is called a quintile, and 20% is a fifth, we get plus 7.8% for the lowest quintile, then plus 3.7%, then plus 6.2%, then plus 13.2%, and then we get 12.9%, 18.2%, 2.8%, and 5.3%. And these are the median price growths over last year for each smaller segment of homes, from the lowest price on the left to the highest price on the right. So we can see that even though the overall median price growth for the state was 6.5%, that growth is not at all evenly distributed. The least expensive homes in California, those at the 20th percentile and lower, grew healthily, 7.8%. Then, from the 20th percentile to the 60th percentile, we see median price growth below the statewide number. And then starting at the 60th percentile, we get double-digit price growth until the 90th percentile, at which point median price growth again falls below the statewide number. So, more expensive, not the most expensive homes, but homes in the 60th to 90th percentiles have gotten a lot more expensive, and average to below average cost homes are underperforming. Why is this such a problem? Let me show you. This pair of charts shows the growth of sales volume for different price ranges in California. On the left, we can see that the sale of homes that cost less than $400,000 shrank relative to last year. Home sales in the $400 to $500K range grew 1%. And then, check this out, above $500,000, sales took off. And what's really wild is that the market segment that grew the most in terms of sales volume is homes that cost over $2 million. And guys, the decline in the sale of homes under $500,000, that decline isn't because Californians are making so much more money this year and are deciding not to buy at the lower end of the spectrum. Those low-end sales are declining because those homes are going away. They just don't exist anymore. So what's keeping statewide median home prices up isn't value appreciation, but a reconfiguring of the California housing market. Less expensive homes are just going away, while more expensive homes are taking up more and more market share. This skews the median price up without there having to be any actual appreciation of value in California homes. The graph on the right really brings the point home because I can actually overlay it on top of the median price data. This graph shows market share by price segment from last year to this year. The low end of the market, homes that sold for less than $500,000, shrank from 25% of the market to 22%. Now, that's 3 percentage points, but it actually constitutes a 12% decline in market share for low-end homes. The mid-market, which is homes from $500,000 to just under $1 million, contracted 2%, and the high end of the market, homes that sell for $1 million or more, expanded by 9%. Let's overlay this onto our median price data. Okay, so home sales under $500,000, the low end of the market, constitutes 22% of the market, and we can actually map that out because the 22nd percentile and under will be the bottom 22% of the market. So the 22nd percentile is going to be right around here. Just bring that down to there and to there. So these are sales under $500,000, and this portion of the market shrank by 12%. The next 42% of the market is the middle of the market. That's homes priced $500,000 to $1 million, and that takes up 42% of the market. So 22 plus 42 is 64. So the 64th percentile is right there. So we'll bring that down, and then we know that this section of the market is $500K to $1 million, and we know this part of the market shrank by 2%. And then finally, the remaining 35% of the housing market is from the 64th percentile to technically the 99th, but I'm sure they're doing some rounding, so we'll say to the 100th. And this is for homes that cost $1 million or more, and this part of the market grew by 9%. So now in red, we have how much median price for each section grew, and in blue, we have how much the section itself shrunk or grew in terms of sales volume. And what we end up with is a picture of the California housing market that's significantly more alarming than the headline suggests. We have a low end of the market that's disappearing, and I'd suggest that the elevated median price growth we're seeing down here in the first quintile is due to the fact that lower priced homes are just going away. This quintile of homes hasn't gotten 7.8% more valuable. It's just been reconfigured with a lot more homes at the $500,000 end of the range than at the low end of the range. The middle of the California market is showing some median price growth, but it's also shrinking. And I'm sure it's shrinking more on the low end than on the high end. So again, I'm looking at these median price numbers, and I'm thinking, can we trust these? Do these actually reflect a growth in value for these California homes? Or is the middle of the market also stagnant in terms of value, and the elevated median sale price is just a result of this reconfiguring? And finally, we get to the high end of the market, which is just exploding in both dimensions. In sales volume, it's grown 9% since last year, and more of that growth has probably been toward the $1 million mark than at the very, very top end of the market, where you have your $20, $30, $60 million mansions in Bel Air and Malibu. And it's exactly that part of the market, toward $1 million, from the 60th to the 90th percentile in terms of price, where we're really seeing huge price gains in the median sale price, 12.9%, 18.2%, 13.2%. So I'm not seeing a healthy housing market here. I'm seeing a market that, frankly, reflects the broader economic picture in America right now. Participants at the bottom of the market are getting wiped out. Mid-market participants are basically stagnant despite numbers that suggest growth. And the wealthy, those in the 60th to 90th percentile, are doing just great. And their success is holding up the whole house of cards for now. So what happens from here? Will the other shoe drop? In other words, will something like maybe a recession cause this hidden overvaluation of mid-market homes to come into full view? And how will homeowners and homebuyers respond to that? As always, we have to keep our eye on the data in order to stay ahead of the market. Subscribe here for ongoing California housing analysis, and coming soon, local analyses for all of California's major cities.